So, okay, my scary story, it has scary stories in it. So it's like
Ooh.
scary story Inception. Uh, so there's three kids. One of them is a girl, one of them is tall, and one of them is nondescript. So there, it's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's 1968. Man
Not as
has
funny.
not yet landed on the moon. Hank from Breaking Bad is there. Love that guy. So, okay. These three kids, right? They're friends. They were like, "Oh boy, I'm so glad it's Halloween, but there's that bitch boy. There's this bitch, right?" And so he steals our candy every Halloween without fail. And
Oh,
this time they're like, "Oh boy, we're gonna get him." So they're going out. They're going out on their Halloween walk. The bitch boy pulls up in his car, and they fucking they throw a flaming bag of shit into his car,
dear God.
and he's like pretty mad at them, understandably. So he gets out of the car and chases them on foot. They run and they go to the drive-in theater and they get in some random dude's car. And oh my god, wouldn't you know it? It's the male romantic lead of this movie. And the girl child is like, "Hey," and she's like, "Ah ha ha, we need to stay in your car. We're on the run." And the bully kid, he goes up to the car and he's like, "Caught you, motherfuckers!" And he he's he gets kicked out of the drive-in movie theater. And so the three kids are like, "Hey, romantic lead guy, do you want to go to a spooky fucking house?" And romantic lead guy is like, "Yeah, sure." So they go to the spooky fucking house, and they go to the basement, and they're like, "Okay, so there's
Always
this
a good idea.
this crazy fucking story, guys, right?" So apparently there was this lady, and her family kept her in the basement, and she would tell stories through the wall. Even though she's in the basement, that would kind of be just talking to dirt. But anyway, she tells these stories, these scary stories, to the little kids outside the wall, and then the kids outside the wall all die. This was like the 1840s, I think. I don't know.
Ooh.
They could die of anything, but no, they're dead because she told them stories. So anyway, I found this book of stories in the fucking bookshelves in the basement. Let's take it.
Hell,
So girl child
nothing's
takes
so
it home,
ridiculous.
and and she's looking through the book, and she sees a new page start to write itself, and she's like, "Oh no, I wonder what's gonna happen." So in this story, right? So there's this scarecrow, and Jock Kid from earlier hated this scarecrow, and then the scarecrow fucking murders him, and he turns into another scarecrow.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
it's like Death Note, but you don't write it, you know.
Autobiography Death Note.
So she's like, "Hey guys, the Jock Kid went missing after the book said that he would go missing. That kind of sucks." And they're like, "No, that doesn't suck. Also, it's just a coincidence. Shut up." So she tried to get rid of the book, but it keeps coming back to her. Oh, that sucks. So the next night, right, the book opens again and it starts writing another story, and she's like, "Oh my fucking god, what now?" And it starts writing, and it's like, tall kid is in his kitchen. He is eating a stew. The stew has a toe in it. He spits out the toe, and she calls him up on the walkie-talkie, and she's like, "Bro, you're in this story." And he's like, "Oh fuck, what happened?" And she's like, "You're eating stew and you spit a toe out." And he's like, "Oh fuck, that's like a story my mom always told me." Don't worry though. That definitely won't happen. So he takes a sip of the stew. Oh, fuck, there's a toe in it. So this corpse starts walking through his house, and it's like, "Shit, fucking, where's my toe? Who has it?" And the guy goes upstairs and he ditches the walkie-talkie, which was kind of a stupid idea. And he goes under his bed. And then the thing grabs him from under his bed, and he's dragged into the darkness of a void that doesn't actually exist, but he's dead now. The girl kid and romantic lead kid will go to his house, and they're like, "Fuck, he's not there." So next day, they're all sitting on a bench, and nondescript kid's sister is like, "I'm also here," and they're like, "Fuck off," and she's like, "Okay." They try to burn the book, but it doesn't work, unsurprisingly, and it opens, and it starts writing, and it's like, nondescript kid's sister. She got a spider bite, and spiders are gonna fucking explode out of her face. And they go to the school, and oh my god, she's in the bathroom, and spiders are fucking exploding out of her face. That's crazy. But they save her, and she goes to the hospital. She'll be okay. This won't scar her for life. And they're like, oh, I wonder who's next. That would suck if it was one of us, which it will be. They're trying to find stuff out about the book, so they like go through newspaper records, and they're like, oh, here's the lady who owned the book. Here's this girl who was a servant or a slave or something. I don't know. It's the fucking 1840s. And she's still alive. And so they go to the lady's house, and they're like, hey, can you tell us anything about a book lady who owned the book? And she's like, yeah, they say she died in her house, but no, she was in the mental psych ward hospital. So they go to the mental psych ward hospital, and nondescript kid's like, I have been having nightmares about a red room, and then there's this pale lady, and she walks toward me, and then I die. They're like, nah, let's go to the psych ward hospital, mental hospital. The title gets longer each time, I'm sorry. So they go to the place, and they're like, hey, can we access some records? And the lady's like, no, these are patient records. And they're like, fuck you, where are the records kept? And she's like, well, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but they're in the red room. And nondescript kid's like, fuck, a red room? And they're like, no, that's just what it's called. The real erection dick room. It's just an acronym. And he's like, nah, I'm not going there. So he runs off, and for some reason he goes to some other part of the psych ward instead of just leaving. He doesn't leave, he goes and runs around and, plays tag with some orderlies, and they sound an alarm, and oh no, it's red lights. And now every room is red. And look, there's some pale lady, and she's walking towards him, and she absorbs him. Because she's fat, and that's what fat people do.
This is true. This happened with Cool Fat Guy.
This is exactly what happened with Cool Fat Guy. Also, I'm fat, but I'm not going to absorb you, because, I haven't finished my story yet. We'll see what happens after I'm done. Maybe I'm not hungry. So, now, all that's left is girl kid and romantic lead kid. They go to the cops, and they're like, hey, everybody's fucking dead, and we know why. Here's why. And they're like, we don't believe you, which is fair, because they're telling some shit about a book that writes itself.
Why the fuck would a book kill people?
Yeah. It's like, Death Note hasn't come out yet. It's 1968. They're in a jail cell, right? And they're like, wow, I sure hope none of us die while we're in this jail cell. And the cop guy's like, wow, some fucking dude's body parts are falling down the chimney and assembling themselves. And then he gets killed. And then they get the keys off his body, and they escape the jail cell. The romantic lead guys, he's like, I'm gonna drive off in my car, the guy will chase me, you go take the book back and make book lady fucking stop. And so he drives off in his car. It's not that loud, actually. And creepy man is chasing him, and girl child goes to the spooky house, and she's like, hey, book lady, I hate this book, stop. And book lady transports her back in time, and she's like, that's right, motherfucker, you're taking my place now. You're gonna see my awful childhood. And so, in this past part, the book lady has escaped her, basement room, and has started telling people about her family putting lead in the water and poisoning kids. And the family's like, oh, fuck no, we can't let anybody know that we're poisoning kids. We gotta put her back in the basement. Girl child's like, no, it's not me. I might look like it, or shit. That was about how coherent she was in the movie anyway. I mean, in the story that I just made up on the spot. She gets thrown in the basement, and she sees the ghost of Book Lady, and she's like, can you cut this shit out? And Ghost Lady's like, no. You used to be a prisoner to your family, and now you're a prisoner to your rage. And Book Lady's like, wow, that was a great analogy.
That's fucking deep.
You can be not dead. And so, she's not dead, and romantic lead's not dead. The end.
It sounds a lot like a book I had when I was younger.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
What?
I made it up. Okay.
Quite rude, innit?
What are you, British?
No. That would be more horrifying than anything.
Oh shit, is that Tom Felton?